A learning disability does not disqualify you from becoming a citizen, but a whole lot of people think it does, and that is exactly the kind of myth that keeps folks from even applying. The naturalization test is not designed to trip you up like some trivia show villain. It is designed to check basic civics knowledge, and there are real accommodations built right into the system. Here's the twist nobody expects. You do not need a lawyer to request accommodations, but having one helps you avoid the paperwork maze that trips up almost everyone. The form you need is called the N648, and it lets a licensed medical or psychological professional describe your disability and recommend specific modifications. Think of the N648 like a backstage pass. It tells USCIS exactly what kind of help you need before you even walk into the interview room. Maybe that means extra time. Maybe that means a modified test format, and maybe that means having someone read the questions aloud instead of you reading them cold. Let us talk about the civics test itself for a second, because this is where the drama usually happens. If your disability affects memory or verbal processing, an officer can adjust how questions are asked, sometimes simplifying language or repeating things without penalty. Now, here is something wild that catches people off guard. There is actually a full disability waiver called the N648 medical waiver that can exempt you from the English and civics test entirely. This is not a hall pass for everyone. It is reserved for applicants whose disability is so significant that testing would be medically inappropriate, and a doctor has to certify that in detail. You might be thinking, does this mean the interview turns into total chaos with no structure at all? Not even close. Officers still follow strict federal guidelines. They're just trained to apply reasonable accommodations the same way a teacher might for a student with an individualized education plan. Reasonable accommodations can include things like extra time during the interview, sign language interpreters, or even allowing a support person to be present in the room. This is not special treatment. This is the government finally catching up to something schools figured out decades ago, that people process information differently, and that is normal. Here is a plot twist that feels almost too simple. Timing matters a lot. You are supposed to request accommodations when you file your N400 application, not the day before your interview when everyone is panicking. A lot of people assume documentation has to be some giant medical file thicker than a phone book. In reality, USCIS wants clear and specific information connecting your diagnosis to the accommodation you are requesting. Nothing more dramatic than that. Let us bust a myth that spreads faster than a viral dance trend. Having a learning disability does not automatically make you a security risk or a weaker candidate for citizenship. That belief is outdated and frankly a little insulting, since millions of citizens already living here have learning disabilities and nobody blinks twice about their citizenship status. Immigration lawyers who specialize in this area often help clients gather medical evaluations, fill out the N648 correctly, and prep for interview day so nothing feels like a surprise pop quiz. This is where legal guidance genuinely earns its stripes, because a poorly documented request can get denied, forcing someone to start the process all over again. Community organizations and disability advocates have pushed for decades to make these accommodations more consistent across USCIS offices. Consistency has improved, but experiences can still vary depending on the officer and location, which is exactly why preparation and documentation matter so much. If you or someone you love has a learning disability and is nervous about naturalization, the biggest lesson here is that asking for help early changes everything. Waiting until the last minute turns a manageable process into a stressful scramble, and nobody wants that kind of plot twist in their citizenship story. At the end of the day, naturalization was never supposed to be a test of who can memorize the fastest under pressure. It was supposed to measure whether you understand and want to participate in civic life, and the accommodation system exists to make sure that measurement is fair for everyone. So if all of this got you curious about how an immigration lawyer could actually help with your specific situation, do you want to learn more about our company? Check out our links in the description below.